Right here, where this valley meets the horizon, lies a mystery waiting to be unraveled. Imagine a dry riverbed, forgotten by time, covered in rocks and dust. But what if I told you that hidden in this arid landscape are clues that could change everything we know about one of history's greatest miracles, the parting of the Red Sea? And what if I told you that new discoveries have started to shed light on this event? Yes, you heard that right. Scientists and archaeologists are uncovering evidence that may finally lead us to the truth about the Red Sea crossing, an incredible moment that defied the laws of nature and shaped the faith of millions for generations. The story that changed the world. The Red Sea crossing is not just another biblical story. It is a symbol of liberation, unshakable faith, and the direct intervention of God in human history. Imagine the despair of the people of Israel. Pursued by the most powerful army in the world at the time, the Israelites were fleeing oppression in Egypt, where they had been enslaved for generations. They had worked tirelessly, endured brutal injustices, and cried out for deliverance. For 400 years, their hopes seemed lost, until God raised up a leader to guide them, Moses. When the Israelites were finally freed, it seemed their troubles were over. But along the way to the Promised Land, Pharaoh changed his mind and gathered his army to chase them. Picture the panic, a weary people, carrying everything they owned, walking toward the unknown. When they reached the shores of the Red Sea, they were trapped. On one side, an angry army, armed to the teeth. On the other, a sea that seemed impossible to cross. It was the end of the road. Or so it seemed. And then, the unimaginable happened. With a single divine command, the waters divided. A dry path emerged in the middle of the sea, allowing the people to cross safely. Massive waves stood like walls on either side as the Israelites walked on dry ground. And when Pharaoh's army attempted to pursue them, the waters returned with full force, completely destroying the soldiers and their chariots. This event wasn't just a miraculous escape. It was a declaration of God's absolute power and his commitment to his chosen people. An event so grand that it remains etched in Jewish and Christian traditions as proof of divine intervention in moments of despair. Faith or fiction? The age-old debate. For centuries, this story has been the subject of debate. Skeptics often claim that the Red Sea crossing is merely a myth, a legend passed down through generations. Without concrete proof, they argue that something so extraordinary could never have happened. But let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen the ocean split in half? No? Neither has anyone else. And that's exactly what makes this story so powerful. It defies the laws of nature, something that can only be explained by a higher power. Something that is beyond science, something that is divine. But what if science is beginning to prove that this story is more than just a myth? What if evidence is finally emerging to confirm that the Red Sea really did part? The discoveries that are changing everything. For decades, researchers and archaeologists have been investigating the depths of the Gulf of Aqaba. And what they've found might surprise even the most skeptical. First, underwater formations resembling chariot wheels have been discovered, surrounded by coral reefs. These wheels bear a striking resemblance to Egyptian chariots from the time of Ramses, mentioned in the Bible as the army that pursued the Israelites. This cannot be a coincidence. Additionally, geological studies point to the existence of a natural land bridge beneath the waters of the Gulf of Aqaba. The Bible mentions that God sent a strong east wind to part the sea. Scientists now suggest that specific climatic conditions could, in fact, expose this land bridge, allowing the Israelites to cross. And that's not all. Ancient trade routes also seem to align with the biblical account. The people of Israel weren't just fleeing. They were following a carefully planned path, possibly guided by God, to reach the Promised Land. These discoveries raise intriguing questions. If this evidence is real, what explains the perfect alignment between the biblical account and the archaeological findings? Could it be that science and faith are finally intersecting to reveal deeper truths? The power of God in action. But this story isn't just about scientific evidence. It's about faith. It's about how God acts in the face of impossibility. Think about it. The Israelites had no strength to fight Pharaoh's army. They had no boats to cross the sea. All they had was faith. Faith that God would deliver them, even when all seemed lost. That faith was rewarded in a way no human could have imagined. God didn't just open the sea, He destroyed the most powerful army of the time, proving that His word is true and His promises are fulfilled. The sea wasn't just a barrier. It became the stage where God demonstrated His power and love for His people. And this story echoes to this day. How many times do we feel trapped, with no way out? How many times do we face obstacles that seem impossible to overcome? Just like the Israelites, we are often called to trust God even when everything seems hopeless. The Red Sea crossing reminds us that with God, the impossible becomes possible. Why this matters today? Even today, the story of the Red Sea crossing continues to teach us valuable lessons. It challenges us to believe that God still performs miracles, that His hand still guides those who trust in Him. We may not see seas parting before us, but how many times has He opened paths where there was no hope? What's next? What do you believe? Is the Red Sea crossing just a myth? Or is it proof that miracles are real and that God still works in our world today? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to explore more hidden truths in the Bible, subscribe to our channel and join us on this journey of faith and discovery. Together, we'll uncover the wonders of God's Word, one story at a time.